Here is another example of female cops being completely useless because they are a waste of taxes.
Drop the knife. Stop coming towards me. Stop coming towards me. Stop where you are.
She should have already had her taser out at this point.
Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop the knife, miss. Casey, taser. Stop it. Stop it, you're gonna get shot.
Complete fucking justified. That cop should have already had, she had a knife. Did she? Well, they said drop the knife, so it's not very easy to see, but yeah, they probably had a knife. She started running around like, a bit before that.
Stop it!
Yeah,
Stop
she started speeding up. Yeah, no, like, bro, just... Yeah, she was a danger. Yeah, like, if the person approaching the police officer has a weapon, the police officer should absolutely shoot. Especially if you already... Must be postpartum psychosis again. Oh, that's the Lindsay Clancy thing. Okay, that's funny. Yeah, this is funny. That response was funny. This isn't funny. This is tragic. This could have been completely avoided if that cop had not been a female. If that cop had been a male, that bitch would have been on the ground electrocuted by now. Tased. Yeah, bro. Yes! Actually, yes! Oh yeah, I'm gonna approach the suspect. So my partner is aiming at the guy, at the whatever. And I'm gonna walk to the person that my partner is aiming at, so that if my partner shoots that person, I might get shot too and I can sue him for $1 million. That's probably why she did it. Yeah, like... This actually is perfect for a video I wanted to watch. Hold up.
Think fast. You're behind cover and an active shooter is right in front, fleeing civilians all around. You notice a figure dashing next to you. Do you A, try to identify if it's a fleeing civilian, or B, panic and shoot?
Slime
if you choose B, congratulations. You might be a female police officer.
They're useless.
So let's confirm.
They're useless.
After panic...
Police officers should have, like, behind the scenes, not in combat roles in the police, fire department, military, like, everything. Men are simply stronger, like, physically stronger and more fit. On average, we're not talking exceptions, so don't bring it up, than females.
And shooting a civilian, the actual shooter advances. Do you A, hold your ground behind cover, or B, panic, run into the open, and get shot? If you chose B, it's confirmed. The scenario I just gave is from a recent event, where a female police officer successfully made every worst possible decision available.
Of course they did. That's what they always do.
Conversation surrounding women in combat roles, specifically law enforcement. Therefore, in this video, I'll be ranking and debunking every argument in favor of women police officers. And if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. It helps the channel. Women use less force. The argument here is that they are less prone to use excessive force when apprehending suspects, avoiding unnecessary harm, and saving on potential lawsuits.
That's not even true. Women use tasers and guns on average way more often than males. Like, you don't need statistics even to come to this conclusion. Just use basic logic. Yes, exactly. If you, like, a woman is less strong and less, so if the suspect is a male, and a female law enforcement officer is trying to, like, get him to the ground, cuff that person, that guy will win. On average, yes. Like, same age, same height, even, the guy will still win.
Proponents use studies showing that women are less likely to receive excessive force complaints compared...
Because they're less capable, so they just shoot him or taser him. Which tasers aren't even like effective to a quarter of the population or something.
Compared to their male counterparts. To call this argument deceptive would be an understatement.
Yeah, obviously, it's a bit.
Of course they use less force. They're less able to. Additionally, male police officers are typically the ones who are made to handle more difficult physical arrests
Yeah,
for
obviously.
obvious reasons. Since male officers are made to handle more difficult physical arrests, obviously they get more complaints.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Naturally, this goes into NPC tier as a classic midwit argument. When a female officer
Yeah,
is
it's not a
staring
complete
at a
lie, but it's
larger,
stupid.
non-compliant male, her options are reinforcements, taser, or gun. Which brings me to my next argument. Women are less likely to draw their gun. This argument argues
the person that says this is mentally retarded and should go back, well, not to school because they're gonna learn the same bullshit. They should be fired, to be honest. If they have like a job that requires them to be smart, yeah, they should just be fired.
Again, citing studies, that female officers are less likely to draw their guns compared to male officers. Again, an obvious explanation is that men are being made to handle more difficult cases.
Yeah.
Which is a demonstrable fact.
Yeah, of course.
These broad studies with poor control over variables prove nothing. Furthermore, simple reasoning paints a different picture. A larger, non-compliant male poses an immediate risk to a woman in a way that it doesn't to a man. If a female officer feels threatened, her only recourse is her taser or gun, and tasers are not reliable tools. Anecdotally, we see case after case of women feeling threatened and escalating drastically when it's either not necessary or wouldn't have been necessary for a male officer. Again, a failure of
women are also like if women are on the period, they should not be allowed to have a job at that point.
Women are better.
I'm gonna get so much hate for this, but it's true. That's my exact reaction.
You serious?
The argument
Yeah, you
cites the
serious?
claim that women tend to rely on verbal skills more often for their arrests compared to their male counterparts. I'm tired of repeating myself. Of course they are, since they struggle to physically restrain the suspects, and less compliant suspects are delegated. Abyss tier. Let's also address the root cause.
We need to take away women's rights. I'm saying it. I'm saying it. I'm saying it. We need to do that.
Of these arguments. So far, they've all relied on an implicit sexist assumption that men lack self-control and default to violence, whereas women have more self-control. The studies we do have on this also don't support the idea of women being more in control. Women are twice as likely to suffer from anxiety or panic disorders as men are, as well as more likely
I'm not
to
saying
suffer
it, but
from
we all know it's
PTSD.
true. We all know.
Exactly what you don't.
We know. We all know. We all know it's true, because it is. We know. We know. We all know. It's true. It is just... It's 100% true, and that's why Putin called me a genius, by the way. Felt so stupid.
Want from police officers. Proponents of this argument cite the fact that men are responsible for more violence. But how do you control for the fact that men are simply more capable of violence, or have greater incentives for it? Additionally, since men have this capability, a lot more effort is used in training them to control it since boyhood,
obviously.
a process that is often neglected on girls, which explains a lot of modern phenomena. NPC tier. Better results with victims. This argument makes the case that women typically get better results trying to get victims of abuse or similar crimes to open up. This is actually true, and it's one of the ways that women have genuinely contributed. And
yeah, but that doesn't help your argument for putting them in, like, fucking the line of fire.
This part, it doesn't require women to be police officers or in combat roles.
Oh, damn, bro.
They can be social workers, consultants, or other forms of outside help, so that their unique talents can be fully utilized without having to put their lives and others at risk by doing something they're not suited for.
Yeah.
Flawed tier. Better community perception. The claim here is that the populace prefer and trust female officers more, which is highly debatable. Additionally, what happened to tearing down gender stereotypes? Public perception is just stereotyping. Why are we condemning
Yeah, they don't like stereotypes when it goes against their interest, but when it is in their interest, they love them stereotypes. They do.
Stereotypes when it goes against the agenda, but using them as an argument when it's in favor. This is clearly just a rationalization. It's already been decided women are to be police officers, and now they're just finding excuses for it. Abyss tier. Tasers negate physical disadvantages. Only the most delusional deny the obvious
Yeah.
physical differences between men and women, which is why we have such reduced standards for physical ability when admitting female
Yep.
officers.
Yep.
This begs the obvious question. Why are we accepting subpar candidates just because of their gender?
Because they are women
The
and they want
counter
more
is
women.
physicality doesn't matter. The taser exists. Already, this is foolish.
It
Chases,
is.
wrestling, takedowns are all part of the job. But even more importantly, how reliable are tasers? Well, for starters, a portion of the population are just flat out immune to them. Their ranged option is extremely limited, inaccurate, and hard to reload. And a taser is often best used when already in a melee altercation, which involves grappling and wrestling. Only an NPC can argue that physicality doesn't matter in law enforcement. Physicality is the only meaningful difference. Not only does this argument set aside argument also contradicts earlier pro-women officer claims, as well as the statistics we have regarding likelihood of panic and anxiety disorders.
Yeah.
And it goes deeper. Reaction time, spatial awareness, innate hierarchy are all things men outperform women in and are invaluable in combat roles. The belief that the only differences between the genders are physical is quintessential midwittery.
Yeah, it's not even
NPC
true.
tier.
It's one of the biggest
It's
differences,
necessary
but
for gender equality.
no, it's not.
This argues that even if the disadvantages of women in law enforcement and combat roles are conceded, it's still necessary in the name of gender equality. The issue is, if we need to accept worse performance and a higher risk to people's lives just to include women, then gender equality does not exist.
Yeah, no.
Whether
If you need to change the requirements to get into something, you don't have equality. You simply don't. It's not equal. That's not equality. Then you have equity. Then you have equal of result. Then your outcome is the same. Not your chances are the same. Yeah, if a woman is fit to be a police officer, sure, she can be a police officer. But if she's not, if she doesn't fit the same requirements as a male, she can't be a police officer. But then you also shouldn't lower the requirements for being a police officer in general, because then you just negate the issues. And everybody
them or
sucks.
not. You can call reality sexist all you want.
That doesn't change it.
It won't change to accommodate your sensibilities. But you will get people killed by denying it. Abyss tier. Men and women are different, and if you can't accept that, that can't be blamed on just your stupidity. That's a choice, and one that's costing lives. That concludes the tier list. If there are any other arguments you'd like to see ranked, please share them in the comments below. And I would like to give a special...
This channel is so fucking based. It is. It's one of the most based channels ever, dude.